Hello and welcome to the Business Octopus. We talk about all things sales, marketing, and technology. How are you going, Amanda?
Great. How are you today, Avon?
Not too bad. I think we've sometimes there's a lot to think about, and I think today's episode we're gonna make it a lot easier to access your say your memories or your ideas, concepts, who you know, how you know them, how to make the most of those relationships. So,
Amazing. I'm here for it. Let's do it.
so today we're going to talk about neural note taking and link analysis.
Okay. Tell me more.
I know it's a little bit mystical.
It is, yes.
Now we are going to use a little bit of a tactical demo, and we'll sort of use
Cool.
an app. So I'll show how to use the app. But I think it's important just to zoom out and say that this is a concept rather than it's a particular tool. So
Got it.
You may or may not know this about me, but I used to be in the army, and towards the end of my career, I was in intelligence. And one of the things we had was this tool called i2 Analyst Notebook. It was this IBM built platform, and it was used for like case management. Still used today across FBI, CIA, even normal police. All it really does is map things and patterns and activities.
Ooh.
This was what was used to bring down fraud cases at top board levels in Telstra years ago. This was used for probably a large number of cases because, you can track there was an email here, there was a call there, this was what was said, this is when this meeting occurred. And the concept of link analysis is really just to join individual elements together and give them a little bit of context, and also to map it out a little bit visually. So the idea is that, like in, I guess, militaries looking at terror networks, they try to see where all the command comes from. And that one cut the head off the snake concept is find the one person that has all of the power. And then the rest become a disorganized rabble. So that's the military context. But
I like it.
We can use the same thing in a networking context.
Right. And just for clarity for the kids viewing at home, in my head, I'm automatically taken to like a cop show, and they've got all their pins in the wall and the pictures and the maps and the string. Is that kind of what we're doing, but digitally? Is that
100%? But you can go much crazier than that. So have you seen the movie A Beautiful Mind?
Yeah.
And then there's this scene where he walks in and there's just string everywhere. It's on walls, it's across the room, and it's linking this idea to that idea. Pretty much that is what you can do. And I think the idea is that, capturing information, life is messy. Life doesn't follow a structure. Humans try to apply a structure, but that structure is more about us trying to find the information again. But our brains don't work that way. Our brains make a connection, and like the concept of a train of thought. You're like, I need to go to the shop. Oh, and then you go, and then I'll buy some cat food. Oh, so-and-so has a cat. Oh, I also need to talk to them about going to this place or taking them somewhere or whatever. And so it's one thing triggers another thing, but then to be able to reverse engineer that and find out what the origin was, or find out what which element is the most triggering's a bad word, but whatever is the most impactful element within that map of ideas and thoughts. So I know we're getting a little bit fluffy here, a little bit conceptual, but I think it'll make a lot more sense when I draw it.
Amazing. And while you're bringing that up, Avon, so I will often find I'll be trying to remember something or think of something, and it's like right there, and I can never quite grab onto it. This gives me a way to record information, so I'm not feeling that way anymore. Like I can't grab onto the missing information. Is that fair to say?
Yeah, I mean, you can enhance what's there over time. So like important ideas will come to the surface themselves, or you can, maybe there's some attribute that links to it. Ideally, if you have to have a little bit of discipline, you have to use it. You could do this in a number of tools. So today we're going to be showing a platform called Obsidian. But you could do it there's one called Capacities, and I think there's about 50 others that you can find that do the same thing. Or if you really want, you could do it with a notepad and pen. But the thing that scales is the thing that is searchable. So let's do a little bit of that.
Sounds good. Let's do it.
Okay, so let me juggle my screens around here. So I've got a test environment here. So there's a few bits of, I guess, dummy content in there, but this is effectively a new Obsidian instance. Now, you've got what's called a note, and a note is just a little bit of information. You've got folders. You can start to group things in different ways. Now, I like to try and think of notes in different ways. So if I create a note, and we'll just say types of notes. Now, what I'm going to do is, I guess I could make a list here and just use it as whatever I'm thinking. So I like to do it on the fly. So all I did to get a dot there was just a hyphen space. It is a little bit codey. There's lots of stuff that you can find on YouTube. There's 1,000,001 things on how to use it. If you get past that, here's the cool bit, right? So types of notes. Let's go locations. Let's go resources. Let's go people, organizations. Now, these are probably more the folder structure that I would put in place. So, I mean, I can brainstorm here, but then I can also come and build the folder. So I might go locations and then create another folder and say, let's go new folder. We'll call this one people. We'll create another one, organization. And then let's go resources. And I think that'll do for what we need to do right now. But you can go a lot deeper than that. So let's start a new one. And let's just say this one is who I've met, Amanda.
Hi.
Hello, how are we doing? And just so that you can see that is Amanda, I'll just remove that little banner thing across the bottom.
Yeah.
Okay, so this is now a note, and you can see it just across there. Now, we were introduced by, now I'm going to do this thing called a square brace. So I've done a double square brace, and now I'm going to write the person who introduced us. So what that's done is now creating a new note for that person, and is now something, as soon as I click into it, now that note exists. So I can say lives in Brisbane. Oh, let's do this one. Brisbane.
Oh, yes. Okay.
And now I have a location. So now what I could also do is go to the, go back to this note here, and I could say lives in, and now I can reference that one that already exists. So I can come down the list, or as soon as I start typing Brisbane, it's going to find it for me. And so now I've linked a location to both of you. Now you can turn on a function of backlinks.
Okay.
So if I go into files and links, we should have you've got the links there. You've got a link format. Automatically update internal links. Yes. Deleted files. Appearance, community, backlinks. Here we go. Yes, we want to turn on backlinks. So what that now does, if I should work now, if I go between resources, I'm probably going to have to edit this bit out. Let's see. In new tabs by default. Okay. So if I open up a new tab, and here we've got backlinks. So now this backlink area, right? So these old tabs are just under the previous. So every time I open up something now, So if we go to Brisbane, now we can see the backlinks. So if I wanted to see who I know in Brisbane, I now know Amanda and Paul in Brisbane.
Nice.
I could also add additional information. Brisbane is a city in Australia.
Mm-hmm.
In the state of Queensland.
Very
so
good.
Then, as I'm creating these elements, these become, I mean, you don't necessarily have to go into that much detail. Honestly, I would just do the city. But once you start to map these together, now you're building other elements. So we could go and say is in the Relevate community.
Mm-hmm.
So now we've got people, we've got locations.
Yes.
And I would consider this to be a resource. I mean, you could put it in organization, but maybe if I put, for you, lives in Brisbane and runs Imagine 8 Consulting. So now that would be an organization. So as you can see, it's building all of these off to the side. So I can grab, Australia and Brisbane and drag it into locations. Then I've got Amanda and drag it into people. We've got Imagine 8 Consulting, drag it into organizations.
Nice.
And then Paul can go into people. Queensland can go into locations. Community can go into resources. And so we're building a little bit of a structure, but here's where the magic happens. If I go into this graph view, now I can see how everything is linked.
Cool.
But let's just say if I had a conversation with you and you introduced me to somebody, now I can create that note based off you. And then, or the other way around. Maybe I meet someone, they're like, oh, I know Amanda, I met her at a networking event. I can create that link. So next time, I know who you know, and I know who you know knows, and I can build that image or that structure of data over time. So you need to make it a habit to bring this up alongside any networking event or any kind of conversation or Zoom that you have, because now you have the ability to create scale, whereas before you kind of are limited by whoever you could remember. So
amazing.
Let's now go back to you. Is there two people that you know that know each other that I don't know?
Oh, goodness.
You can give me rough names or made up names.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, give me two made up names.
People that I know that you don't know.
Yes.
Okay, so Talaya. I gave you like the hardest name to spell too. That's okay.
That's
and
fine.
Aiden. Yeah.
Oh.
And another one that's a little bit difficult to spell. Nailed it. He would be impressed.
I grew up with an Aiden, so easy.
Nice.
All right, so now if we go into here, we can see the back link to each other. But now when I go over here, I can go and search for Aiden. So I know that there is like a three-way link here between them. So I click in to create it. So you saw that it was like a light purple, and now it's a darker one. So then you know that it's in existence. So once you click into it, it's live created. Otherwise, it's kind of like a preloaded or a suggested note, if that makes sense.
That is
so
cool.
In terms of adding structure, it's a little bit free flowing. You can define or get your structure in future. I think ugly is beautiful. The more that you can just get in and make those connections. Like I don't need to write the full backstory on you. I spent a lot of time, talking to you on live streams, I think I've got it in my inner circle.
Yes.
But, there might be key elements there. I go, oh, I didn't know that about you. Or I know that there's a connection here to someone, to someone, to someone. And I can follow that chain now. I can go, oh, she also knows Aiden. So we can go and follow that record over there. And so then we can start to link where people live, what football teams they go for, things you have in common with them. And it builds a network of information. So here we can see the link between Talea, Aiden, and Amanda. And now we can see that Amanda is a little bit of a super connector because she's connected to Imaginate Consulting through to Paul. And, you're in Brisbane, Australia. So some of those are more attributes, but you will still be able to see that. And you can filter, you can create rules for different types of nodes.
Amazing. Now, Aiden, I'm curious now, obviously you do this on a daily basis whenever you have conversations with other people. Now, how has this served you? Do you have some examples of how you've been able to quickly make a connection for someone or solve a challenge? I'm curious how it's been of benefit for you.
So there's another mode in there that I didn't show, which I could probably show, where I like to do one which is like a daily note, and that might be a particular meeting. So when you have lots of meetings with someone, you can create like a historical note and then link that off to things. So it becomes a little bit of the everyday. One other thing that you got is this canvas view. Now, a canvas view helps you to visualize something bigger. So I'm actually planning a US trip. And so I can map out the cities, I can map out the that I'm going to go to, who's at those locations, so I can maximize the value of my time. So if I go in this canvas and we'll say a trip, and I'm going to go and I'm going to add a note. So let's just say I'm going to go to Brisbane. And then I'm going to I'd have another screen up and I'd look at my connections in Brisbane, and I can see Amanda and Paula there. So then I can go back here and then I can say, I'm going to add this note and I'm going to see Amanda, and then I'm going to see add a note, Paul. And then if I zoom out from that, I can then go, all right, what are some themes or topics that we want to cover? And then I can create other notes for that. So you can actually really get some very complex ideas. You can build org charts. You can build link diagrams. You can, maybe this relationship is good to go, but this one is in progress and we're still working out whether or not that's confirmed. But as you go and you take notes, like I've been able to conceptualize very, very big, complex ideas. As I take a note, that is now a historical reference and I can go back to it. It helps me write blogs. It helps me write articles. It helps me towards the second book. It helps me with YouTube scripts, live stream scripts. Some of the information that we use here can be repackaged and used in other ways. Basically, I can write about 4 times more. I can decode who I met, who, where, how, and find a link like 10 times better than I could ever do before. And so that,
No, you go.
Say, when you're reminded of a thing, and you have a conversation with that person, and you go, oh, I remember last time we spoke, we talked about this, 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 and this, and I know you're here, and I know you're interested in that. It's so much more depth. I mean, I know that there's and we do a lot with CRM systems. That's structured data, and that's good for companies. This is unstructured data, and this is good for your own brain. So you can use it in a number of angles.
Amazing. I like that analogy. So for ourselves being humans, we need that unstructured data and a way to be able to recall it in a constructive way.
Stream of consciousness. Yeah, you just, as it comes out of you, you can do that. People use this platform for research papers.
Yes,
It's based off the Zettelkasten concept, which was created by a German sociologist that wrote 400 academic papers and about 70 books. So
wow. So it works clearly.
Yeah. Well, the output is proof.
Yeah. Amazing. Wow.
So
great stuff, Avon. Thank you.
I think that, we probably need to spend more time on it. I don't think that's something that we can easily do in a quick little live stream kind of thing. But if we create enough content around it, that there's plenty out there to find. I think it's easy to use. Well, people will show you often like just how to use it as a note-taking tool, and they nerd out and go way down the details of how to do this in code or that in code. But like I said at the start, if you zoom out and look at the main outcome of what we're trying to do, is we're trying to build an intelligence database on the people in and around your network.
Very cool. Very cool indeed.
So that's it. We made it.
Smashed it out of the park.
If you are still watching, if indeed you still are, I stole that line from Crystal Maze. So it's always a little bit funny and cheeky at the end. So if you still are watching, please check out the link, join the Relevate community. We've got lots of knowledge transfer sessions and more deeper learnings on how to go deeper on your networks, how to build an exponential network, but also, like the intelligent scaling of your business. So bringing the right people together, the right systems, the right processes. If you've got questions, let us know in the comments. Let us know, join the community, and we can talk about it here on the live stream. Otherwise, thanks for watching. You stay classy.
Catch you next time.